charge we do. Everyone's a pastor.
Yeah,
brings it by the truckload.
Well, and I
Yes.
had to keep
Same as Kelly.
Well, we work on it, but it's pretty hard.
Yeah, I'll bet so.
I mean, it's just pretty doggone hard. We're getting gnarly and right down to the bottom line.
Maya down to
And, you know, we're trying to accommodate
I wonder
public.
if we almost have to start doing like they do in town for birthday.
We may have
Flagstaff?
Bring
From
your
where?
water bill or
Flagstaff's
something to
awesome.
prove that you live in town.
I thought we
Rolling
still
Hills.
did that.
Well, no.
No, you just drive it
Oh,
down.
because I always, when we go up,
You're gonna
I
have a
always look
serious case
for a
of
water
it.
bill or something in case they, not that they have
They
asked.
don't. And we may have to
Coming
get a little
home.
more strict on our
Well,
screening.
you know,
we
it's
drove
like,
down
I mean, otherwise, we're paying to haul someone else's garbage up there, and that stuff is getting very expensive.
They had a real serious
$60,000
episode.
no,
a month.
the thing is, is we have to
If she's
take care
gone.
of quite difficult. You can come dump,
It finally
break it
sunk
out
in.
half dumps and dug.
And I had a little-
Always.
So when we were down there touring,
It's
went
a
over,
very
Vicious
stupid,
over to the honors
stupid
college, which is
situation
going
as
to be
far as I'm
staying.
concerned. I do not
Well,
understand it.
we're hauling
Kinda
a
had
short
my moment
distance
with
for
Oh, we're
once.
lucky.
really
We are
like
so
Some of the
lucky.
towns around.
My kid in the
How
back.
far
Dad,
they-
I saw you choking up.
Miles and miles and over winter roads and across mountains. I don't know how to do it.
I will
Man
caution
can do
you
that.
though.
Man can do
Crazy.
We
I
had
think it's
3 at the house at one time. My 2 and Dayton's youngest. Thought I was going to go crazy. Those kids there. And then they all went up. They all left.
Yeah, of course I didn't know
Like
for
a year
sure.
later, after we got really used to being there by ourselves, they all moved up. All 3 at one time.
And you want them to be back.
Yes, immediately.
That,
And when they come back, they don't remember that there's
I certainly did.
Oh, yeah.
because
They can do what they want.
they
They can
gave
live
us
on their own.
one
Come on.
table and we bought one.
and that they actually need the
So we have
license.
16 seats and
No,
we're
that's
going to
where
buy
they're
all
at.
the
What's
council
going on?
and department.
Well, and the reason I wasn't going to buy one is because I think we're going to buy it.
It goes
I
both
think
ways,
so.
man. That swing vote.
Well, don't wait too
But the
long.
town has, they gave us a table. So
Yeah,
we
I'd say
bought one.
we'll get a-
So we have
I hit pretty good
their
this
table, I
summer.
think is
We start moving
8
stuff
seats.
around.
so we have 16 seats.
I mean, that's going to be nice because the people at the table are
I
going to wait
think
at 6
Vicky's one of her
o'clock.
hospitals
for the
in
early
Flagstaff, so
crowd.
she'll figure out a
Jones
business
will
for
be
it.
there among the crowd and giving a speech and wandering around visiting people. So it's kind of a nice thing.
No.
Yes.
But I was going to let everybody know that they called
You are here today.
a table, and I thought 8 isn't enough. The council
Oh,
people
come on.
wants to go department heads, so I went ahead and paid for another table, so we have 16.
I'm not sure how many tickets they've sold right now.
Oh, wild card, yeah.
They haven't disclosed that yet. Did you hear Marguerite sell these? Sure, I'm a great salesman.
I think of her.
Great call.
It's better you than me.
You won't make $1,000 right now, maybe. Get the tickets sold.
Hospitals now, Western.
And he said, Margaret, what corner are you going to stand on to sell your tickets? I said, I'm going to be on the warmest corner.
Yeah, she's the
You can't find out. I'm not doing it.
It's not going to go well.
I don't think I have to go to you. I think it's safe.
Wind.
I got an alley for you to stand in at 8 o'clock Monday morning, right?
Yeah, 8 o'clock Monday morning, a 6.5 alley.
From 8 to 8:15.
One up 4 weeks, so I went to the airport Sunday morning.
I have no idea. Sure how all night long.
Snow and rain.
It has been so horrible.
Okay.
How?
I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. If you'd rise and say the pledge with us, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't believe we have any additions or deletions. Is there somebody to make a motion to approve the March 10th, 2025 council meeting minutes?
I move that we approve the March 10th, 2025 council minutes.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed by nay. Motion carries. Reports. Councilwoman Colley.
Not anything from me this week.
Councilwoman Nunn.
Oh, yeah, lots of shaking bacon out there. There you go. The landfill did meet last week, and we had a very good report on our methane gas monitoring. None was detected in the last reading, and that's really good news. The new gatehouse installation should be complete in early May, and we're growing our Black Mountain, thanks to John, of Rotomill to eventually put down on our road system. That will be another very positive improvement to our facility. That's a dusty mess up there. The official word on waste from commercial contractors is that commercial contractors cannot dispose of waste material. This material must be taken directly to the Casper landfill. Any questions that anyone has about this issue, contact Crystal at the landfill. That's her baby. And unfortunately, due to construction of the redesign of the area used to dispose of used oil, no oil can be accepted at the landfill until this construction is complete. How long? I'm not sure. The Greens Department has on site a wood chipper that is very unhappy with Wyoming high altitudes, but is getting an attitude adjustment and should become a valuable resource for recycling wood from trees into wood chips that can be free from the public to use for mulch. They are planning on putting in 1,500 to 2,000 plants in the garden for free food for people, for the Food for People program. Currently, 40-plus chokecherries and raspberries are planted, and there is a plan for establishing a vineyard with Concord and table grapes, and they're also going to start a fruit orchard with both apple and pear trees. Should anyone who starts garden vegetables have any extra, these plants have a home waiting for them in the green departments. And if you have any shrubs or perennial plants that you no longer want in your yard, contact the green department. They will dig these out for you and replant them in the greens area. And when Danny said that, I was going to told him I was going to go out and put a tag on all my plants to make sure they were almost there the next day, so it didn't come out along at night and clean me out. The Veterans Memorial Park, the Veterans Memorial people are getting well organized and prepared for the June 26th fund reading. A very interesting note containing the live auction planned as part of this event is they will be auctioning a flag donated by Senator Barrasso. This flag will fly over the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. for 1 day, day chosen by the buyer, and in honor of one person selected by the buyer. The buyer will then receive a certificate of authenticity, a picture of the flag, and the flag. Tickets for the events are on sale now. You've probably figured that out already. They are $100. Contact Mainstream members or go online to them. The number of tickets is limited. I really do not have any idea at this time how many they have sold, but I do know that these people are very dedicated to making the Memorial Park a beautiful spot in Glen Rock. Moving on, Bruce. I'm done here.
Are you done?
Oh, no, I said not moving. I'm moving. You're not moving on yet. Nice thought.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Hey, Margaret,
Roy, you got it?
I got a question. What's going on up there with the green area is really cool. If you guys could get a bigger sign on the highway there for the greens area, it'd be
You're right. That would be good to have it out on the highway.
bear-
Because you could just
miss it
drive right
sometime.
by that thing.
Yeah.
You don't need- Very good suggestion.
Get permission from the DOT if you set it out in the out
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
past the
You
fence
guys-
because they will cut it down for you.
Yes.
Well, we'll consider that and see. But that is a good idea because that sign is
A lot of
hard to
folks are
see.
missing it. I missed it a lot last
I
night.
know you do. It is. Or even if we put it on the other side of the road, across the fence, pointing down that way, it might be better.
Probably talk to the
Who knows?
road guys.
Yeah, good plan.
Talk to
And now,
Wyoming DOT.
This is an interesting experience considering this Mylar stuff. With the law that requires the filing of a Mylar document in the county assessor's office regarding a property description in Glen Rock. Unfortunately, it appears that the town of Douglas is far ahead of Glen Rock in getting this done. We built a house on South First Street 17 years ago on 3 lots into a 1-lot situation, and there was never any Mylar plat filed on this change. So we technically have a building on a surveyed lot that actually crosses property lines. We were told that this should not affect the sale of the property unless the buyer has some design for doing other buildings, but should the house be destroyed for any reason, it could not be on the property as it's currently surveyed. So I think that that maybe should be something we might want to look at in the town. Do we need to clean that up? Is it an issue we need to address and see if we can get that cleaned up? Or Mylar?
It's been an issue for a long time. It's anytime you do that, you were supposed to vacate and replat and get a new Mylar plat made, and just like what we did with the Wicked project, it should be done every time.
Is that something we need to address as a town? Is it a big deal?
It should. Well, it should be, especially where the older, it's the older part of town where the lots were narrow lots, and you bought those were put so many lots because they were 25 foot wide, 125 foot deep. They're no longer that size because that's not a big enough lot to our ordinance of how it has to, so you can build a dwelling on it. So the newer parts of town wouldn't have that problem unless you're adding bigger lots together like we did with that. But all that has to go in front of the Planning and Zoning Board for them to look at. All that stuff needs to be surveyed and redone and by engineers and replatted and bring it to the back to get it approved by Planning and Zoning and then council approval. It's a long process.
I know it is. The Wickets had a very long time with those. Well, I was thinking about it. 2 other little public notices. I'm done. This week on Thursday, down at the public library, the county commissioners and all the elected county officials will be down there at 6 o'clock, and they will be discussing the new laws that the legislature passed. Not just tax laws, but maybe gun carry laws. I don't know what they're going to talk about. But I think it might be worthwhile to sit on this.
It's at 6? I thought
It's
it
at
was 7.
6. It's at 6 o'clock. Glen Rock Library Meeting Room,
Can't go.
Thursday, March 27th at 6 p.m. Don't come at 7, Roy. We'll all be walking out the door.
No, I'll have a board meeting.
Oh,
Still,
okay.
Can't make it.
And one other final thing, if you are into compost or you want any of this wood chips that are at the landfill in Casper, they're having their annual Earth Day sale April 22nd to May 20th, and everything is half price. So if you really want a whole bunch of that stuff, that would be a good time to get up there. Hopefully by this time next year, we'll have so much wood chips up there that you won't even have to go there. That's it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. One thing I have is I have a letter from the Commerce County Historical Society out of Douglas thanking us for donating money to this summer's Commerce County Trek, which are coming to Glen Rock and stopping here for the Rock and the Glen and stuff, but they just sent us a letter thanking us for donating money and stuff for them so that trek can be done in Commerce County.
Cool. Yeah. I don't have much. I was out of town,
Okay.
Arizona. So.
Councilman Delta.
I don't have a lot either. I participated in the King and Queen bowling tournament last weekend over at the bowling alley. That's a huge event. I don't know if anybody realizes how big that is. They bring 300 people to town for $36,000 worth of prize money this year.
Wow.
That's a huge event. Public Works brought an extra dumpster. We filled it, I think, by Friday. Had to get dumped again. It was.
At least we didn't have a major snowstorm like last.
There was no 4 foot of snow. That was a good thing. That's a big event over there. They do it every year. 26th year. That's all I got.
Oh, I saw all those pickles down there. I wonder what was going on.
Big bowling tournament.
A lot of people down there. Very good.
Kelly, treasurer.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Filling in for Tammy. Hopefully she's back on her feet tomorrow. I'll be out Wednesday from 10 until 3 at a WEMCAT board meeting in Casper. And then leaving on Friday to go to Grand Rapids for National APT just over the weekend. I'll be back Sunday night, God willing.
Grad student too.
And then start hitting the budget process pretty hard. So that's all I have.
John, Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. First of all, I'd like to say that one of our employees, Joseph Taylor, passed his level 1 wastewater. He's got to attain the amount of education hours to have that license active, but I'm pretty happy with that. That's not an easy test. So he passed that. That'll give us 3 wastewater operators, myself, Bill, and Joe now. So we've also been working out at Well 5, got the chlorinator machine working the way it was supposed to for many years. It's been down and just been limping along, but we've got that in line. We're working on getting the blowers out the lagoon so that they'll rotate properly, and then so they'll restart when we have energy power bumps, because they haven't been doing that either. The only other thing I really have is Knife River is getting ready to start back up. They were supposed to be here last Wednesday, but they're not here. So the best I can tell you is they're coming. So they should be here to finish up that project. There's a few more lines they have to put in and a manhole or two, and then they have to do the top lay and then finish the punch list that we have.
Hey, John, do you know anything about, I just saw they were painting off and marking off for the post office, and it was a Knife River employee. I didn't know if they were going to do some work over there and maybe get
There's a
some
manhole
surface.
that they have to replace
Oh.
over there in this piece of sewer line. So that's out on the end, over there towards the clinic. And then they have to do the 6.5 alley, so they got a little bit of work in that area over there
I
to
see.
finish up.
Wishful thinking, maybe they were going to do that parking lot.
No, and they also got to dig across from 9th Street over to the manhole coming from the clinic.
Yeah.
They got to dig that one. They're not going to bore it, as their last
Yep.
thing they told us.
So we'll be tearing the streets up again for a while, but hopefully it'll be done. They project to be done by May 1st, but that's their projection.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Of 25 or 26?
What's that? Yeah,
Yeah, good question.
yeah, exactly. Thank you.
I have one question. You mentioned a month or so ago about the flag at the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, I'm still having trouble getting them. I'm thinking about building the damn cable because I'm about tired of messing with that company.
It's like, good grief, why does it take so long for them to
Well, just finding out who was ordered with, they won't even work with me.
Wow.
Both those poles were ordered when we were doing Town Square, and it was kind of a weird situation.
Who ordered them?
Randy's.
They can't find it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I probably will just build a cable. And other than that, when we do the new memorial, if we order any of that, I don't want to go through that Liberty flag. Thank you.
Good thing to know.
Thank you, John.
Lau, building inspector.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Not much to report tonight. We got the minor boundary adjustment in the second reading. We will be going to Wild Pass Planning Conference in Riverton on May 8th and 9th. I'll be going with one of the board members. This board member will go, so that should be good. Learn something about how planning should happen. And then right after that, the next week is the Wyoming Conference of Building Officials, one in Casper, so I'll go to that one. That's all I got.
Okay. Chevy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have the Easter egg hunt set for April 12th at 11 a.m. So we have that set. There's 4,000 eggs and 8 Easter baskets. So there will be a lot, and an Easter bunny. So that's kind of our first event coming up. Theater Thursday is set. So it is posted and flyers are being printed. So I have the movie set. They'll be starting at 7 p.m. I decided to move that back a little bit later because 6 o'clock was really hot. And a new addition down at the square, which was a request of several community members that talked to me over the summer, was date night at the square. So there are 4 nights. There are Saturday nights starting at 8 p.m. and they're still PG-13 movies, so it's still appropriate, but they are more centered around more of the older teens, adults versions. And then Rock the Glen, the concert series, our dates are all set. The times will be starting at 7 again. I pushed that back a little bit later because it just seemed harder for people to get there at 6. And plus with the heat, it really helped out. And I did want to note that on August 23rd is our Town Appreciation Night. And we're going to have Peyton Phillips and Jackrabbit Band out of California. They're a country band. They're a band that features Dermot Mulrooney. He is an actor, so he is a part of the Jackrabbit Band, and we're going to be having the Lions Club cook for us for that event, and we're going to help them with the compensation of that. And I have face painting set up as well. So summer's pretty much already set up. I do have another event. It's Minecraft Mondays, so I have a whole bunch of fort builds for the kids to do, and they're all Minecraft themed, and so those will be down there at the square. So,
Okay.
let's go.
Busy summer coming up.
Yes, it
Be
is.
here before we know it. Kohler, Chief of Police.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Getting a little feedback there. Maybe. Can you still hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. Just want to say thanks to Public Works first. They cleaned up down on the bridge for us. I don't know if anybody noticed the state plow hit that sucker quite a few weeks ago. We called them, and they must be busy. But these guys were kind enough to run down and make that look a lot cleaner, a lot safer, so that kids can actually start using it again. And I appreciate that a ton. Within the last couple of weeks, I was invited by Governor Gordon down to discuss and support his veto of Senate File 0196. That was an interesting conversation, something to be part of for sure. But we have served 2 search warrants in the last couple of weeks, so paperwork and staffing has been the name of the game. So that's pretty much all I have.
Okay.
So Coulter, what is File 196 about?
Senate File 0196, so basically what it was, the intention, I think, was a little different than what they actually ended up writing, but what they wrote out was something that would cause a lot of issues for us as law enforcement locally going down the road with a number of different programs. But essentially what it did was it cut our legs off with working with a lot of federal programs, grants, federal, like the FBI, branches, U.S. Marshals, those kinds of things. It also hindered us pretty severely with hiring in that we wouldn't be allowed to hire any federal employee who had ever enforced any gun laws, which, so you're talking about anybody with the FBI, ATF, anybody like that. And, whether you agree, disagree with those particular laws as they are, somebody who did enforce those previously as a member of those agencies would have been completely acting within their duties, not doing anything wrong, not doing anything illegal. So flawless record previously could stop them from being able to come here and help us out. So
Did it pass?
it did not. Oh well, his veto. He
His
vetoed.
he
The
vetoed.
governor vetoed that bill. Yes, ma'am.
Gee.
Yeah, it did pass the House and the Senate though. Yeah.
Any other questions for Kohler? If not, we'll move on to any items from the floor this evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Sue Dills, and as a reminder, I applied for a conditional use permit clear back in October 18th of 2024. Went before Planning and Zoning on November 6th, 2024. The council meeting for 11/11/2024 was canceled, so it was finally presented at the 11/25/24 council meeting. At that council meeting, I had asked for information about that Lyle had tried to find, that Mayor Romel told me it was my responsibility to find, about why I can't do what we've done on our property for 40 years.
Well, Sue, if you'd like me to shorten this, this is all in front of our attorneys right now, and she's getting that information from the state of Wyoming, and her recommendation to us is to stick with our ordinance and not allow RVs in that part of town.
Okay,
Just telling you, that's where it's at right now.
Well, we're going to go on with this.
You going to keep kicking this horse so we listen to this in October or what?
Yes, because Margaret asked me, let's wait until we have a new council member on, okay? And I said, okay. So, January 13th, there was no action. January 27th, there was no action. February 10th, there was no action. On February 13th, I got a hold of Margaret and Lyle via email and said, hey, what's going on? Well, we're going to have an executive session. So that executive session took place on February 24th. Okay? March 3rd, you had a work session, no discussion. March 10th, a meeting, no action. It's now March 24th. I looked to see if we were on the agenda. We were not on the agenda. So, if the attorney has given you, we have given the attorney since November to find this information. Everybody keeps saying, be patient, be patient, be patient. Well, I think it's the end of patience time, and if anybody else had an attorney that took that long to get them any information, they would have fired them. And so this attorney shows up late to meetings, doesn't show up to meetings. She clearly doesn't care about having the town of Glen Rock business if you gave this to her clear back in November and she never did anything with it. Then you went into an executive session, and another month later, we still don't have anything?
I just told you where it's at. Getting the information from the state is taking her time. She's had trouble with 4 different places to get the information. She will get it. She's working on it.
Yeah, we'll
I got
see.
an email from her at the end of last week, and her recommendation is, once she gets that, there's questions about your stuff, and that right now her recommendation to council is to stick with our ordinance and deny it.
Okay.
That's what she told me. That's what's in the email.
Okay, a conditional use permit allows you to do things. You guys are way out.
That didn't, it didn't pass council yet, so, and as far as I'm concerned with conditional use permits, can now be.
You made your opinion very clear
I
from the
did.
get-go. You don't like conditional use permits.
I don't, because they don't
But
ever
you
get
can-
taken care of.
You cannot like conditional use permits all you want. The fact is, they're still within the ordinances, and you have
and we can
hammered
still
on me
probably
about
vote it down.
ordinances and everything else. And so now here we are. Now we're over 6 months out on lost rent, and you still don't have anything.
Well, you could probably solve that problem, move your little house over there and get it off city property. And run it over there.
Oh, so now the threat comes
No,
here.
I'm not threatening you, I'm just making a recommendation to you.
No. Because that wouldn't fly either, because you'd have some other reason that there's.
No, we don't.
So, I'm not moving that little house. Now, if the town wants to pay to have it moved,
No,
like you
we
paid
don't
for,
have to.
like you paid for Hummer's thing that you volunteered to do with doing his replatting, and you settled Chad's thing in one meeting. I don't know why we're dragging our feet out for over 6 months on this. And the other thing is that you guys said that you were going to have something written up for the 5 residents that the ones that have been there, like Dwayne Dix, that still doesn't even have any skirting on it, and Judy's that's been there for a number of years, and the guy over there on 6th Street. That was supposedly all settled, and we were just waiting for legal paperwork from the attorney on that too. Would you like me to go back on what that said? And we still don't have that either. So it just seems like you've just got a grudge about this. And
We're just enforcing what our ordinance said. The ordinance was here when you were here, Sue.
That's
so-
what you keep saying.
Well,
But the
that's
fact-
where we've been.
The fact is, there's an ordinance that says that I can apply for a conditional use permit. I've
There
met
is.
all of the conditions of that. The planning and zoning approved it. All of the neighbors approved it. And here we are. We're still waiting and saying, oh, well, we're going to find something to say you can't have it. And it just is just your opinion, because you got sideways with me because I challenged you.
I ain't sideways with you. We just said, no, we're going to enforce the ordinance.
But you're not. And you got people living all over town in these things.
Well, we had
you.
a building inspector that allowed those to move in. If you'd like us, we'd have the other one on your property removed and the other 2. There's only 3 being lived in on the north side of town.
Well, what about the other ones living on the rest of the sides of town?
There's only 3.
No, that is not true.
That's true.
So when am I going to get something in writing?
When our attorney gets it done,
And how much time are we giving her? We've already given her 6 months.
I'll give her the time that she needs to come up with what she wants to give us.
You're serious. You're going to give her another year. You guys.
I have no idea how long it's going to take,
You
Sue.
have been talking about this since January of 2024. We are in March of 2025. You don't feel like this has gone on long enough and it's a little unreasonable?
Well,
that she's-
I guess we should have just said, no, we're going to enforce the ordinance, and it would have solved it.
Well,
Sue, I can tell you this, that there was a lot of very heated discussion about this issue, and the decision would have been made, but was asked one more time to get some clarification on some things. I asked for that clarification myself.
thank you.
So we need to give the attorney time to figure this part of it out. because I don't know if she'd looked at this specific thing before we asked her to at that meeting.
Yeah, and this was just at our last.
So
I
During the executive
and just so you know,
session.
I don't know who else she sent the email to. I got it.
I did.
Tammy got it. If you guys, I'll look at it because I didn't bring my city phone. I will forward that to all council members.
And so there was discussion about the other
people
And
as well.
she's-
But we want to get her ruling or what she says on this one thing before we move on with the rest of it.
residents.
So what
It
you're
is,
telling,
that's very specific to you and your property. We're trying to make sure it's done 100% right, trust me. I went to bat for you, Sue, is what I'm trying to say.
thank you, and I appreciate that.
So this-
And
this-
so, Margaret, thank you for saying that we would wait until Russ was on the council. I'm just thoroughly disappointed that at the 11:25 meeting, when we said we were going to give it to the attorney to look at, nothing was done with it. And Russ, that was way before your time. But the fact is that at that meeting, we were told that it was going to go to the attorney, and Margaret asked if she could have a copy of it when it came back. And apparently it didn't, so now we lost December, January, February, and March, 4 months. And so, all right,
I
thank
know
you.
you're frustrated.
I am. I don't need this on top of everything else, so, thank you.
Anything else from the floor this evening?
Hi, Mayor and Council. I am Kim with Elevate Glenrock, and we just wanted to give you kind of an update on what we've kind of got going right now, because we're getting ready for the Deer Creek Days scheduled to come out. So we're looking at really the usual schedule and events that we have, but we are adding one event each day. So Friday's event that we're adding this year is a steak cook-off through the Steak Cook-Off Association out of Texas. It will be a sanctioned event, so whoever wins Deer Creek Days will get to go, if they choose to, compete in Texas for the world title, which is actually a thing. I did look.
I
So,
like steak.
yeah, that one should be fun, and it's
Need
the
some
first one
judges.
in Wyoming.
You need
We do
judges?
There will be judging classes the Thursday before.
We'll saw up some steaks for you.
That's right. So that one we're excited about, and the people that run it are really excited because they've been wanting to get into Wyoming. Out of all 50 states, the only 3 they haven't gotten into were Hawaii, Montana, and Wyoming. So they're very excited to come to Wyoming.
Are any of those judging classes in Hawaii? Because I've been willing to go there too if I need to.
They have them in France, Belgium, Korea, Japan. It's crazy. And then Saturday we are bringing back the Glenrock games. So those will be in the park. They'll be a lot of fun. I think we decided we're going to take 10 teams this year. Lyle's been giving me a lot of guidance on that. So looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun. And then Sunday we're adding, it's Underground Bull Riding Productions, and it's a youth bull riding event. So all the riders are age 5 to 18. So yeah, that should be
I missed it.
fun, pretty cute. And then the gentleman that runs the car show let us know that he has a commitment from Ryan Evans from Counting Cars to be at our car show. So we're looking at a really good year. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then on top of that, there has been a group of us from Elevate, and we included Melody from Main Street, that we did participate in the assessment to action with Wyoming Business Council. So here, within the next 4 weeks, we'll be getting out to the business owners and start kind of having conversations with them, and it'll start the Business Retention and Expansion Program through the Wyoming Business Council. So we got a lot of good things coming up, and we're having fun while we're doing it. So
No demolition derby?
not for Deer Creek Days.
Not for Deer Creek Days?
Ranch
No.
rodeo?
I think he's still planning on doing it. The guy who did it last year
In the fall, right?
is still planning on doing that in September.
Yeah.
So, and then like when we get into September and do Fall Fest, we're still planning on trying doing it the same day. And then I think we're going to add a kids barbecue competition with the regular barbecue competition.
Was he
So,
financially successful last year? Do you
Yes.
know? He was?
Yes, he was. He was able to give a pretty good donation to the Hope Center.
Good.
So, yes.
The only thing you need to know is the DOT had their other engine surveyors here into last week, and I thought I saw their truck this morning, but I didn't see anybody down by the bridge. But that bridge down here, and I don't know how they're going to be able to bypass, is slated to be torn out this year and replaced. So that'll be about a year-long process. So that should be a mess to go from this side of town to that side of town before that's over.
Yeah.
Do you know when they're going to do it?
It's supposed to. It was slated for 25 this summer to get started.
I'll have to reroute everybody.
I don't know. It might be a trip out south and down the interstate and back in. I don't know. Could be a mess, but that bridge is that's on a state highway, and that was on there. It's slated to be done this year. It was slated for the summer of 25. I can tell you that.
Okay.
And their engineers have been here doing a lot of surveying, so I got a feeling it's going to happen sooner than later.
Yeah, no matter when, it's going to be inconvenient, but
It's going to be very.
We'll be-
I'm just wondering how they're going to do that, especially with at least it'll be into the summer, but when our bus travel and everything else, if they get started before the end of the school year, it could be a nightmare.
Bruce, Judy has a solution.
Just ferrying people.
That's pretty good.
At least it'll be
Yeah,
done
that'd be
before next year's Deer Creek Days, because
I think
next
right now
year's
you can just
26th
walk
is the
across.
50th anniversary,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it'll be done before then.
Hopefully.
Nope, but thank you for the update.
So, thank you, guys. Thank you for all your support you give us. Thank you.
I think our next order of business is second reading of ordinance number 752, an ordinance of adding minor boundary adjustments to our ordinances. Is there a motion to approve this on second reading?
I'll
I
make
move,
Oh, you go ahead, Mark.
I approve.
I'm going to second you. So,
All right, I'm waiting. I have moved we approve ordinance 752 on the second reading tonight.
There's a motion, and now there's a second. Any discussion?
has there been any changes since the last time we approved it?
No, nothing's been changed on it. It just takes 3 readings. It's something that's very simple to do, so you don't have to do a total vacate and replat.
Just wanted to make sure something hadn't changed.
No.
I'm saying yes, and I didn't read it.
No, it has not changed.
I read it the first time. I didn't read it today.
Yeah, it's very boring, but no, it's still the same. So if there's no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. Motion carries. Our next order of business is for Deer Creek Days, Street Fair and Parade for Elevate to close US 2026-27 on June 27th and 28th from downtown Glenrock during the Deer Creek Days, like we have in the past.
Bruce, Kim gave me this to go with the application, just showing the red line is right down Main Street,
Yep,
all the way through, and it'll be attached.
yep. So that's being sent. So is there a motion to approve to send this to the Wyoming Department of Transportation?
I move that we send this off to the WDOT.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Is there any change from last year? Or is it the exact same route?
Pretty close, same thing.
It looks like the same
The
thing.
times of blockage, same.
And the police department are A-OK with this?
Well,
Is that a yes or no?
we deal with what you send us.
Oh, okay.
That's our motto.
I think as long as we continue to do the no parking around through here, so
Yeah,
fire apparatus can
like
get
we
through.
have,
I
yeah.
don't think it's any issue.
Gets really, could be interesting doing that, and if right in the middle of that bridge is tore out, I'm not sure what it's going to be like. It could be a disaster.
Plan B.
Yeah.
How big Plan B, I don't know.
We'll those have to take the militaries across the creek. That's
Get the 5 tons out down at the fire hall and let them do back and forth. Little ferry work, so. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed by nay. Motion carries. I believe our next order of business is to pay our bills and claims.
I'll make a motion. We pay our bills.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussions on bills and claims? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. Motion carries. If there's nothing else to come before this meeting this evening, I'd ask for somebody to make a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn the meeting, but before we do this, there's one other quick thing I would like to mention. Mr. Kincaid's daughter had a very beautiful write-up in the paper this week. It's always nice to see young people doing positive things. It makes your heart happy. Good job, Roy.
Thank you, Margaret. Appreciate that.
Motion's now made.
There's a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed by nay. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. If you guys will sign